Hello, and welcome to CJ Creates. I'm CJ, and I create stuff. This is going to be the second video in my AI-generated region series about the Neraea region. Today we're going over the second stage evolutions for the starter Pokemon, Infernox, Leafling, and Aquarrow, and they're all going to get a little bit bigger today. A couple announcements. I'm switching things up a little bit. I think I'm going to try and record audio as much as I can in one shot. I want it to feel more authentic. So that's the first time this is happening. Let me know what you think. The other thing is, I'm sorry that I took a huge break again. I had to do college stuff. College stuff is busy, and so is work stuff, and I don't get to draw as much Pokemon as I'd like. But here we are, we're chilling, and we're going to get back into it. So, let's start with an evolution for my boy Infernox, the fire starter. According to ChatGPT, its name, Pyroclasmix. Appearance, Pyroclasmix is a larger and more powerful version of Infernox. No duh. ChatGPT, come on. Its fur is a bright, blazing orange, and its eyes glow like molten lava. It has 4 massive, muscular legs and a long, flowing mane of flames. Its ability, Magma Armor. Pyroclasmix's body is encased in a layer of molten magma, which provides it with increased defense and resistance to physical attacks. Signature move, Eruption. Pyroclasmix, that X is hard to say, gathers all of its fiery energy and unleashes a massive eruption of lava and flames, engulfing everything in its path. As the evolved form of Infernox, Pyroclasmix is an incredibly powerful and formidable Pokemon. It is capable of taking on even the toughest of foes and is a valuable asset to any trainer's team. There you have it. Pyroclasmix is interesting because it understands that the AI, I guess, understands that Pokemon get bigger, but I wonder how much it understood the original prompt that it gave me for Infernox. It gives it a bigger, more muscular description, which is great, but then it tells me that the body is covered in molten magma. A furry animal covered in molten lava sounds like burning fur, to me at least. I think I've found a proper solution, though. I'm designating certain areas of Pyroclasmix's body to be where the molten magma exudes from, eventually hardening and forming a hard outer layer. I just said hard twice. Oh well. The longer Pyroclasmix goes without fighting, the larger the plates of magma grow. It's very rare to find a fully black Pyroclasmix, though, as they love to engage in battle, chipping away at their armor. Some of the smaller details given in my Pyroclasmix description are fun, too. I like that its eyes burn like magma, and I love the addition of a fiery mane to it. The description of its fur is interesting as well. This makes my job a little tricky, though, because there are already 2 big cat Pokemon with fiery manes, and I don't want to imitate. So let's pull from my vast network of animal knowledge, and I'll introduce you to something I think is pretty rad. The maned wolf. Aptly named for the black mane running down its neck, it's an orange-colored wolf that lives in South America. Pretty unique for being called a wolf. They usually only weigh about 50 pounds, but they've been recorded to run at 47 miles an hour. The black magma armor only heightens the resemblance, too. So, meet Pyroclasmix, the fiery warrior Pokemon. Pyroclasmix releases molten magma from parts of its body that will then harden and act as armor over time. You can tell how recently a Pyroclasmix has been in a fight by the size of its armor, as well as it will break off in battle. Its eyes and mane burn with fiery intensity when in battle. You'll notice that the final design, I chose to remove the orange striping from the magma on Pyroclasmix. When illustrated in the final design, I decided that they just weren't necessary and it busied up the design too much. I'd rather keep the orange on its body for the fur color and not mix it if I don't have to. The final design also got an increase to the mane size, if only slightly. I just couldn't help myself, it looked too cool. So, let's move on to Leafling. ChatGPT, make up a Leafling evolution for me. Certainly. Leafling can evolve into Leaflord, a larger and more powerful grass-type Pokemon. Leaflord has a more humanoid appearance with a sturdy, muscular body and broad, sweeping leaves for arms and legs. Its leaves are much tougher and thicker than Leafling's, allowing it to withstand stronger attacks and deliver more powerful blows. Leaflord retains its playful and energetic personality, but also gains a strong sense of leadership and protectiveness. It is a natural leader among grass-type Pokemon and will fiercely defend its allies and its territory. It's also able to use more advanced techniques for healing and attacking, making it a formidable opponent on the battlefield. In terms of appearance, Leaflord's leaves become more vibrant and colorful, with streaks of red, yellow, and orange running through them. It also grows a long, flowing mane of leaves on its head, which it can use to intimidate its foes or impress its allies. Overall, Leaflord is a majestic and imposing sight to behold, a valuable ally to trainers who have trained their Leafling well. Leaflord is a Pokemon name, sure, I guess. Also, I think it's funny that this description also got it gets more muscular treatment from the AI as well. Other than that, the first paragraph is more straightforward for sure. Its leaves get bigger, it becomes more humanoid, and it gets buffer. Since I'm already drawing a bird, I tried to make it more humanoid by stretching it out. Sadly, it didn't translate as well as I could have in the final illustrated art. I wanted to draw it almost hunting, you'll see why, and this is hunched over and took away the humanoid pose. Either way, it was supposed to be humanoid, and I tried. Too late. What bird to use, though? I mean, there's a lot of birds out there, but let me introduce you to a pretty cool one, the secretary bird. It's a 4-foot tall bird. It's found in the grasslands of Africa and is not only carnivorous, but actively eats some of the most poisonous birds in Africa. Puff adder? No biggie. Cobra? Wait, I think I misspoke. Most poisonous snakes in Africa. Puff adder is a snake. Cobra, also a snake. Both of those eaten by the secretary bird. It's very strong, and it's tough, and it meets all the physical requirements of the prompt. It also has a plume of feathers on the back of its head, and it's known for its impressive threat displays. I decided to work the colored leaves into something that Leaflord does instead of something that it is. Grass-type starter Pokemon tend to stick to green for coloration, and I don't want the official art to stray from that convention. I thought it would be cool if instead Leaflord could change the colors of its wings and feet, as well as that will as part of its threat display. The streaks of color described by the prompt would instead happen when Leaflord attacks. So, meet Leaflord, the threatening leaf Pokemon. Leaflord is a natural leader among grass-type Pokemon, and is known to go to great lengths protecting them. It can change the colors of the leaves that compose its feet and wings at will, using them as a warning to any oncoming attackers. It can deal massive amounts of damage using the edges of these wings to slash and attack its opponents. One thing that I really liked about this AI prompt was that I really felt I had a good idea of the Pokemon's personality. It seems headstrong and a little aggressive, but is respected by other Pokemon around it. My other descriptions got broad or minimal descriptions, so it's interesting to me that this one was so thorough, and it's one of my favorites so far. Anyways, let's move on to an evolution for Aquarrow. ChatGPT, hit me up. Sure, how about Aquarrow evolves into a Pokemon called Aquadrake? Aquadrake would be a larger, more powerful version of Aquarrow with a long serpentine body and sharp, spiky fins. Its water-based abilities would also become more powerful, allowing it to create massive tidal waves and icy blasts to overwhelm its opponents. It would also gain the ability to breathe underwater, allowing it to explore the depths of the ocean and battle aquatic Pokemon. Overall, Aquadrake would be a formidable and imposing Pokemon, feared by its foes and respected by its allies, which is a common theme for some reason among these starter Pokemon. Anyways, Aquadrake is interesting because other than the serpentine body, nothing really changes in the description. It still has spiky fins, it uses kind of similar attacks, just bigger. Aquadrake, though, is the only one that gets a specified type change, which was interesting to me. And also, side note, I didn't know that Aquarrow couldn't breathe underwater. I've been taking these prompts piece by piece and trying not to read ahead, so this is a new information to me. Anyways, the first thing I wanted to focus on for drawing Aquadrake was that it's supposed to be serpentine and feared. I didn't want to seem mean, but maybe just sharper and tougher looking than other normal second stage Pokemon might be. An animal that's really good for this description is the moray eel, one of the most common types of eel on the planet. If you know a lot about eels, that's not a new fact to you, and if you don't know a lot about eels, it's probably still not a new fact. It's a pretty common name, moray eel. The other one that you might hear a lot is electric eel, which is not an eel. It's actually a really interesting catfish, but we can get into that later. Anyways, I think morays meet the right requirements to be this Pokemon because they have scary enough faces and their serpentine bodies make a great addition to this evolution. Aquadrake becomes an ice type, so I accentuated the spikes on its arms and legs into icicle shapes. It's not a very dramatic change, but for me it's enough to make the ice typing. Not all ice types are covered in ice or even white. I think Sneasel and Weavile are great examples of this. I did try to make it more clear by adding the white orca-esque spots around and behind the eyes. Its pose also does its best to act threatening with its icicles, making them clearly weapons. But what are your thoughts on ice-type Pokemon? Do you care that the typing is directly communicated? And do you think that there are specific conformities that need to happen for a Pokemon to be an ice-type? Anyways, meet Aquadrake, the fearsome fin Pokemon. Its fearsome serpentine body and disposition make it a terrifying Pokemon to encounter. Known for using its icy breath and large tidal waves as attacks, it battles with great intensity in the water and on dry land. The icicles that grow on its fins and feet are sharp and can do massive damage if they are even able to graze an opponent. Though somewhat cocky in nature, Aquadrake is respected by its allies for its great strength in battle. Aquadrake is interesting because of the 3 starter Pokemon. It's really the only one to change species so dramatically. Pyroclasmix and Leaflord do as well, but it's still a wolf and still a bird, and that's not the same as going from a shark to an eel. Also, I'm still laughing at the AI for deciding that it can now breathe underwater. Let's add it in now. Why would the first stage breathe underwater? That doesn't make sense. Except that it does for most of them. Anyways, doesn't matter. It's probably my fault for assuming that Aquarrow would always be able to breathe underwater, but it is still a funny detail to me. There you have it. Now all 3 starter Pokemon for the Neraea region have evolved into second stages. If this was a real game, which would you be picking so far? I like them all, but I'm kind of a sucker for Aquarrow. I love sharks and I think he's cute. I keep flip-flopping though, so I may decide my favorite based on final evolutions, who knows. I am curious what you guys want to learn about once the starters are finished. My plan was to go town by town, as if you were playing the game, and introduce characters, places, and Pokemon found there. Anyways, let me know how you would enjoy learning about the Neraea region. Do you just want to know about the Pokemon? Are you itching to see the legendaries that the AI has dreamt up? Or do you want to meet the gym leaders, professor, rival, and evil team? They're all there. I just want to know where you guys want to start. There's lots of fun places to explore too, so get excited. For now, I hope you like what I've made, and I can't wait to see you create something of your own.